Hello, everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero in a very different spot, and it's been a little while. So let me explain. First, with the other job that I have, I was called to go work at corporate headquarters. So first, I am here in California. I've never been to California before. It was quite a journey to get here with an almost 6-hour flight, but I am here. I've been here a couple of weeks now, just kind of settling in. That's why I haven't uploaded or done anything just yet. Also, this time of the year, because of where I work, I usually don't upload because work is so busy. But here I am, back talking about my journey, and we'll talk about a little bit of the weather as well. So it's beautiful here. So let's talk about weather here first before weather back home in the Northeast. I've studied meteorology over a decade now. I've been on television, as many of you know. If you're new to watching the channel, I'm a meteorologist from television in the New York City area. I've known what to expect with the weather. So I knew exactly what to pack, which is very helpful being a meteorologist. But until you get here and experience it, this is where theory and experience meet, where theory without experience is like incomplete. So I've studied the weather across the continental US. I've known California as very stable weather, cool mornings, and hot afternoons. So I knew this coming in. But until I've been here 2 weeks and really seen how predictable and stable the air is, it blew my mind when I first started realizing this, experiencing it in person. So essentially, it's sunny every day. Right now, outside, I'll show you a little quick clip of it. There's not a cloud out here. It's absolutely gorgeous. As of this recording, it is 64 degrees. It is in the morning for me, so back on the East Coast, it's in the afternoon for you. But today's highs are going to get into the low to mid 80s, while we started the days in the 50s. Also, the other neat thing with the weather here is microclimates. So I've talked a little bit about this back home with, for instance, New York City has an urban heat island effect. Newark has its own little microclimate there. Long Island has its own little microclimate, but they're fairly big areas compared to here, where I can travel maybe 15 miles in a different direction, where the coast, inland, and the bay, all within 20 miles of each other, are extremely different. So like the highs on the coast one day could be in the 60s. The highs inland could be in the 90s. So you can have a 30-degree temperature difference for high temperatures from the coast to inland, which is only about maybe 15 miles difference. And then the bay is kind of in between because it is inland, but it's by the cooler water. So it's really interesting. And the way I've been watching the meteorologists on television tell the story, they actually have to have separate graphics for each of the 3 microclimates. And they talk about that actually on television. So that's really cool to actually get to see. Anyway, besides the stable weather here, let's talk about the weather back home in the Northeast. We're going to take a look into the Apple Vision Pro, just a little bit at the forecast models that I'll show you a little bit more in detail as to what the weather is going to be for the beginning of the week, which is a little bit unstable. So let's head there.
All right, so let's say we are not in California anymore. Let's take a look at some maps. All right, so on the radar here, we do see the remnants, the post-tropical system that is Helene. And we do see some showers coming into the New York City metro area. That's probably going to start making its way up toward Boston, and there's some other showers coming up through upstate New York there. So that's what we're going to expect throughout the day today, going into really tonight. Now on the satellite, you can actually see it's quite still a big system, the remnants of Helene. So the center looks like it's right about there, and we have the arms coming out, and if I was able to put this in motion, it actually is pretty healthy still, it looks like. So we have the counterclockwise flow in the northern hemisphere for the low, but we also have clockwise outward flow. So the outflow means it's still a healthy system where it's sucking in air at the ground with the low pressure. It goes up and then out the top. So that divergent air aloft means it's fairly healthy. And that's where we're going to see these bands come in as the outskirts make its way through the northeast. For California there, nothing. Pretty stable. On the National Hurricane Center here, so that's where we are seeing post-tropical Helene. There are a couple of other systems here. Isaac going north to Greenland. Joyce maybe going to Bermuda, but it's really staying in the Atlantic there. This system right there has a 30% chance of formation, so there's no name with it yet. So that means it's kind of like just a tropical wave. It's not a tropical depression or anything like that yet. But just based on where it is, as all these systems come off the west coast of Africa and they travel south, or at least they're traveling the southern part of the Atlantic Basin there, they travel west on the bottom of the subtropical high. So as it moves this way and heads to the Caribbean, that's where we could be seeing a little bit more formation unless it turns north to sea or it just dissipates. But remember again, I mentioned this in one of my live streams right there, Puerto Rico. This is my theory that I might do a case study for it if the center of the low pressure system goes directly over Puerto Rico there. Then that means it's going to be in line to follow the east coast exactly. If it's south of Puerto Rico, it's going to head into the Gulf of Mexico and the Yucatan Peninsula there. If it's north of Puerto Rico, it's either going to head to Bermuda or in between or just out to sea. So that's where we'll see what happens with that system there. Now, for a couple of the forecast models, I just want to mention real quickly here. So this is the GFS on the good old tropical tidbits. And that's where we're seeing the remnants of Helene and some bands come through. It's a little bit unsettled until it looks like Tuesday, where we're getting a little bit more heavier rain in the northeast there on the GFS. And then once that makes its way through, high pressure comes in at 1022 millibar high. So decent high pressure. That keeps us in a pretty nice area for Thursday and Friday. So that is acting like a shield. Ignore that for now. That's acting like a shield that's going to give us that very nice weather at the end of the week. And then this system, it's way past my normal comfort zone for forecasting. And also the GFS is the only one showing that. So we're not really going to talk about it just yet. European, the ECMWF there. Kind of the same situation where Helene kind of just sits and spins out. And that's leaving unsettled weather through the beginning of the week, at least through Wednesday, unsettled weather. And it's kind of setting up the same pattern here where we got that high moving on in right there, 1022. That's the isobar right there. So that's going to be making its way in behind this system and the remnants of Helene making their way out. So it looks like the Euro is setting up very similar to the GFS, which is a good thing. Now the NAM, short range, it's only 84 hours out. Let me move that one over a little bit. Only 84 hours out, so that means about 3 days. So let's just glance through here. There's the remnants of Helene kind of spinning out. There's a high up in Canada. So that high is kind of keeping everything a little bit more south. So it really doesn't have any showers come through New York City or north, really except for overnight tonight into the tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be that strong of a high, because these two forecast models, the big ones, really didn't see that. So we'll see. The NAM is, as you know, being the NAM. And this doesn't go as far out. However, we can kind of see the same setup here. We got that system there, remnants of Helene. That system there, remnants of Helene. And if I go back over here, we got that system there, remnants of Helene. So they are very similar in terms of their forecast modeling. There we go. So that gives me a little bit more confidence, at least for the short range, that what we're going to see is an unsettled week. to start out with. Basically starting tonight and then going through Wednesday. So that's what I see there. And again, it looks like it's going to be fairly nice to round out the work week. Temperature-wise here, so starting off in Islip, where it's going to be a little bit cooler. We're seeing the high temperatures in the 60s there. So we got 62, 64, 59, 61. So upper 50s to the low 60s there. Climo data shows a high of 68 as the normal high for this time of year there. So a little bit cooler. So now we go down to White Plains. And we're also seeing highs upper 60s, 70, 61, 68, 70, when we should be around 68. So about where we should be. Going down now to Newark. So a little bit more inland, but let's see, 69, 70, 61, 71, 74. When the normal there should be 69, so fairly stable. Then Albany here. Going down here, so 68, 74, 65, 63. So all right around the 60s there, and the normal 64. And then the last one here, Boston, we'll take a quick peek at there. We got 67, 69, 62, 65, 69, 73, and 66, and it should be 66. So a little bit of a fluctuation, but all kind of hovering right around where we should be at. So that is all I want to take a quick peek at right now in my mobile weather office. So let's head back to the desk.
Here, though, quite a different story, where we're pretty stable with the temperatures around 80 degrees, upper 70s, low 80s. But the end of our week is going to be in the upper 90s to around 100 degrees. So sunny at 100. The other little fun fact that one of my teammates here threw it out was it hasn't rained here in 5 months. That is just crazy to think about, especially coming from anywhere in the Northeast. No rain for 5 months is crazy. The first week I came, there were some showers. So it was like, you brought them with you. But since 2 weeks ago, that one little shower that rolled on by, from what I've seen, it's been 2 weeks, sunny skies every day. No rain for 2 weeks. So that led me to believe that the 5 months without rain was not a lie. So quite an interesting journey I've had. I will still, now that I've gotten to kind of a cadence here, and I'll be in California for about 2 months before I get back to the Northeast. So by Thanksgiving, I should be back in the Northeast. But for now, I'll be kind of giving a little taste of California along with the weather for the Northeast. So I hope you all enjoyed my little update. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, yes, I mostly do weather for the Northeast, but now I'm going to be doing weather a little bit for California, which, as I've seen, is very stable. And other things on the channel. So right now, the Full Charge Thursday, which is my series with electric vehicles. So that's with the Tesla Model Y and the Harley Davidson Livewire. Will be on hiatus because here in California, I don't have either of them. And they did not give me a rental car here, so I'm relying on transit. So not really car videos unless I travel out a weekend and I rent a car or I rent a motorcycle, and then I will bring you all along with me. Check back often to see more updates. I probably won't be able to do my Tuesday live stream. We'll see. I'll let you know. Because now I'm working Monday through Friday and off on the weekends versus before I was off Sunday and Tuesday. So that's why Tuesday was like my stream day. So we'll see what happens. I will let you all know on my socials, which is at WeathermanAP on most of the channels out there. So feel free to follow along. All right, everybody, this is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Stay safe out there, and I will see you all in the next video.